Thursday, everyone, and happy birthday, Maggie. We love you so much. We hope you have a fantastic day, and we hope everything is extra special today for you. It's been great watching you kind of grow the past 2 years into the beautiful woman that you are today, and will be in the future. So, it's crazy. Crazy! Well, let's have some fun today. Now, before we get to the work set, let's talk about the warm-up. Our warm-up is going to consist of a plank lean for 2 to down dog for 3 to 5 reps, swimmer stretch of 3 to 5, humeral glide to knee push-up for 3, into a quad plank to down dog for 3 to 5, and 1 to 2 rounds of work there to get things fired up and ready to go. After that, we're going to work on some jumping, some in-out hops for 20 seconds to kind of get that base portion of the jumping jack ready to go and get our feet ready. Squat thrust for 20 seconds, just working on the step back to kind of focus on warming up that press through the shoulders. And then we're going to come down to the floor into our arch up. So we're going to do some arch ups for 20 seconds. So arch up is a nice long kind of back extension kind of position, working on lengthening. So we're going to do that dynamically today, not a static hold. So dynamic movement today. Then we're going to finish up by pairing some core work together, hollow up to pike sit up for 3 to 5 reps, and I'll walk you through that complex / combo movement, and we'll have a lot of fun with that, heating up the core. We're going to go through that 1 to 2 rounds, and then you can do any touch-ups that you might need to do, maybe a practice run through to get going with this workout, because this workout is fun. It's called Margarite. It's a good time. It's 50 rounds. That's right, 50 rounds of 1 burpee, 1 push-up, 1 jumping jack, 1 sit-up, 1 handstand. So we're going to flow through that work set, 50 rounds. And our goal here is, again, not necessarily to take this down for time, but to think about quality and getting into a good flow. So working on trying to mesh these movements together into a nice steady flow and get nice efficient movement patterns going. So I really like this workout. I like playing with this one. I have timed myself in the past to do this just to see how long it takes. But this is one of those workouts that I don't try and beat my previous time. I just try and move more efficient and try and play around with some meshing and melding of the movements into a nice gentle flow. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you have fun with it today. Let's get you prepped. Let's get you ready for a good old time, and a happy birthday, Maggie. Let's get those feet under those hips. We're going to take those arms big and tall. We're going to reach it over to one side. We're going to reach it over to the other side. We're going to come back up. Shrug those shoulders to the ceiling and pull them back down. We're going to take it all the way to the floor. Touching those toes, we're going to walk up the shins. We'll come down to frame our foot. We'll step back into our lizard as we lower the back knee down. Keeping that big toe down in the front, let's press the hip down and then open up with the outside hand. We'll come back down, press the hip, come through, outside hand, come back down, press the hip, come through, outside hand. Plant that hand down, grip the floor, straighten out the leg. We'll step back into our down dog, reaching through those hips. We'll come back into our plank. We'll step the other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. We're going to lower the back knee. Press the hip, open up with the outside hand. We'll come back down, press the hip, come back through, outside hand, come back down, and press the hip, come through, outside hand. Plant that hand, grip the floor, straighten out the back leg. We'll step back into our down dog, reaching through those hips, come back into that plank. We're going to tiptoe those feet up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up. Big toe stretch. Little reach. Little reach. We'll come down with those hands. Let's get you fired up and ready to go, you guys. Now, if you have any extra movement, maybe some extra hand, wrist stuff, arm stuff, take that down. Get yourself ready. We're going to come at you with that first phase of warm-up and have a good time. All right, our first phase of warm-up is going to kickstart off with a plank lean to down dog. So we're going to play around with this lean. All right, so we're going to get our hands outside our shoulders. We're going to push the floor away, pull the ribs in. We're going to lean to the left. We're going to lean to the right. We're going to come back to center, reset the shoulders, and then pull back and up into
hips, setting those shoulders good and strong. We'll come back into that plank and then reassess. So again, there's a few points in this movement where we want to make sure we're pausing to make sure our shoulders are good and set, really focusing on that pressure through as we shift from side to side. And then again, from into that down dog position, making sure we're setting and activating as we flow from plank to down dog as well. So really taking the time to set that shoulder position in between movements. Our next exercise is going to come right to the floor, as is the third one as well. So our next exercise, we're at the base portion of the floor position. Our toes are together, our hands are stretched out to the front. I'm going to set my engagement. I'm going to press my toes together and down, pull my ribs in, armpits down, palms down. I'm going to lift both arms up, take them around the side, palms face up. I'm going to bring one hand to my low back, take it back out. Other hand to my low back, come back out, and then take it around, palms face down and down. Okay? So it's a nice steady flow with that swimmer stretch. Now with this, I'm going to stand up tall on my back for you guys for a second. I'm on the floor, hands are up nice and long. I lift my arms up. I come around, my palms rotate up. From here, again, we're just trying to bring that hand as close to the low back as we can. If we can't get it to the low back, we're just getting to the glute. That's okay. We're just going to take it to where we can, and then come all the way back around. The whole time we're doing this, we are trying to maintain that good core position so we're not breaking into that extension position, but we're staying tight and pulled in. So don't feel bad if those arms don't come off the floor very high. You'll be able to get them around, palms up a little bit more, but we're just working on activating that motion. Now if you really can't get that arm to the low back, focus on that straight arm floor facing angel and work on that first to get that really, really solid before we start adding in those arms to the swimmer stretch. We have 3 to 5 reps of that, nice and slow, resting in between reps to make sure we can keep each rep high quality. After that, we have our humeral glide to knee push up. So we're back on our stomach. Our hands are just outside our shoulders. I'm going to pull the shoulders forward in that dumped position. I'm going to pull the shoulders back. Ribs pull in, push to my knees, maintaining that tight core. I'm going to lead with my chest and lead forward so my chest touches first in that push-up position. All the while, again, we're trying to keep that elbow stacked over top of the wrist at the bottom of our tripod. So again, our tripod is made with the hands and the head, creating that little triangle as we hit that set position. From there, we're going to come into our tabletop, and before we do these, if you'd like to add in some cat-cows, scap push-ups, thread the needles, please be my guest. It's always a good thing to get those shoulders worked on, a little bit of rotation, some control there. So if you want to add those in, you're more than welcome. We're going to move into our quad plank to down dog. So we get set up, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. I push the floor away, pull the ribs in, and I'm going to lift my knees about 1 inch off the ground. From here, I pull back and up into the down dog, reaching through those hips, those shoulders, pushing through the ground. And I'm going to come back in, pushing through the ground again, lowering into that nice quad plank position. So again, we set the shoulder position. Once our shoulders come over top of our hands, we're pushing through those arms so that the lower body just kind of lowers into place in that quad plank. If you need to come down in between each rep, take a rest. Please be my guest. Rest a bit, reset, come back up into that good quad plank to down dog. Holding each position for a couple seconds. Again, as a quick recap, we have a plank lean for 2, down dog, or 2 down dog for 3 to 5 reps, into our swimmer stretch or straight arm floor facing angel for 3 to 5 reps, humeral glide to knee push up for 3, quad plank to down dog for 3 to 5. We're going to hit that for 1 to 2 rounds. That's going to slowly start to wake that shoulder up, get that core ready to go for what's to come. Pause the video, take that down if there's anything else you need to add in there, especially for your hands or your wrist for what's to come. Please be my guest and add that in. We're going to come at you with a little bit more kind of dynamic piece, a couple combo movements. We're going to get that core really fired up.
All right, we're gonna start off with an in-out hop of 20 seconds. So we're gonna work on a nice gentle hop or step. So what we're looking at is our feet starting kind of in that squat stance or hip width stance. And we're gonna just work on bringing our feet in and out, which is again, just gonna wake up our ankles, work on a little bit of coordination. You can work on going fast, you can work on a steady state pace, whatever you wanna do. You can also turn this into step and footwork work. So working on some steps, if you'd like to do that as well, I'm totally fine with that. It's gonna help warm up the ankles, work on bringing the head and the feet together as one, and just get things firing nice and quick. From there, we're gonna continue on with a 20-second time clock, and we're gonna do 20 seconds of squat thrust. We're gonna do step back style. So we're gonna hinge, stretching out the hamstrings a bit, gripping the floor, step into the plank, step flat foot into your squat stance, and stand. We come back down, we step, and stand. So we're gonna work on that nice smooth pace, keeping those shoulders over top of the hands as we maintain that strong upper back position as we step into our plank. So it's a really nice way to, again, heat up the hamstrings, warm up that strong upper body engagement for 20 seconds of just steady state flow. Once you're done, you can actually flow into your next one. So the 20 seconds is up, you come down, step, lower, and then I'm gonna extend, and I'm gonna work on one of two things. I'm either going to inhale, squeezing the toes, reaching both hands and feet, up and down for 20 seconds, looking for length, or I'm gonna work on an alternating arch up for 20 seconds, nice and steady. Now these are not fast. I like to pair these with my breath. So I'll inhale, exhale. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. So it's a nice way to go. Nice timing piece there for you guys to play with, so we're not just flopping up and down really fast. Our last exercise is another combo, and it's gonna fire up our core really well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip over onto our back, and for 3 to 5 reps, you're gonna alternate between our hollow up and our pike sit up. So what this looks like, my hands are above my head, I'm gonna pull my ribs in so my belly button and sternum are gonna come together, finding my hollow up, come down, sit up, and reach. I'll come back down, reset position, hollow up, down, sit up, and reach. So I'm gonna work on just joining the hollow up and the pike sit up together to work on a little bit of core activation, some strict engagement, and some dynamic kind of momentum-based core work. Now if that single or sort of double leg hollow up is a little bit too much, we can do a single leg hollow up, touch, sit up, and touch, and then alternate the foot on the next rep as well. So there's lots of options there, lots of ways you can kind of play with this and kind of have some fun with that kind of pairing. It is going to heat the core up really well, and you're looking at 3 to 5 reps of that after your arch ups. As a quick recap, we have an in-out hop of 20 seconds, squat thrust for 20 seconds with step back, into our arch up, dynamic for 20 seconds, and then we're going to flip over onto our back, joining that hollow up plus pike sit up for 3 to 5 reps. 1 to 2 rounds of that, get yourself fired up. That should give yourself a good once over. Then we're going to move through a couple practice rounds of this work set just to get used to a couple transitions and have a lot of fun with this. So let's talk about our work set, this nice flow work set we got. Okay, so we got 5 movements in this work set, all kind of flowing into another. We have 50 rounds of work, 1 rep of each exercise. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a doozy. So the exercises we have for you guys, I'm going to walk through them all individually first off, and then show you the flow. We have burpees, and with the burpee, you can also do a squat thrust. All right, so for our full burpee, we come down, pop our feet back, we pop our feet in. We can also step back, step up, working on those key points we worked on in our humeral glide. So keeping our core engaged, our elbows stacked, and hitting that tripod at the bottom of the burpee. We also have our squat thrust, where we take our hands down, we pop our feet out, and up, or we plant our hands, step is keeping our hands stacked under our shoulder, keeping that core nice and engaged and tight, really focusing on keeping a static upper body and a dynamic lower body as we shift in and out of that position. Neither's right or wrong. Pick the one you want to work on, because the next exercise is a push-up. That's right, double whammy on the press. So if you're doing the burpee, well, you get 2 presses. With the push-up, you can do this on an elevated surface. You can do this on the floor with one of our 3 variations, which are these. So we have our full push, so from the toes, forward and down, up into our toe position. Our second variation, we lower through the toe, maintain that nice key body position as we come up. And our third position, we start from the knees, we start from the toe plank, lower to our knees, and work on our knee push-up. So with that lovely positioning, I want you to think about that knee push-up. We're always going to step back into our full plank first, lower our knees, do our push, come back up. So we want to make sure we're maintaining a good hollow, and again, embracing those key points of the humeral glide to knee push-up. The shoulders are back, the ribs are in, our elbows are stacked. So we're nice and solid through all those push-ups. So again, if you need to take that push-up from an elevated surface, that's fine, or one of those variations from the floor. Now our next exercise, jumping jack, pretty classic. So what we have is our feet together, hands to the hips. We will take it up and over, and together. So apart together. Doesn't have to be super wide, all right? So whatever's comfortable for you, but I would like you to try and touch those hands above your head. So we get that nice open position, closed position, and basically what that flows into is kind of a nice push up into a jumping jack, so it's kind of like a burpee with a flare. So it's kind of fun. After the jumping jack, we will sit down on the floor. Our legs are going to be straight. We'll work into that pike sit up, touch our hands above, touch our toes, keeping those legs nice and straight. You can also use an anchor if you'd like, doing that bent knee position if you'd like for a sit-up, all you'd like in that regard. Now, our last exercise is a quick handstand. So there's a couple different things we can play with this. You can use the wall, okay? So you can kick up against the wall and do this whole process kind of standing in front of the wall. So when you come out of the sit-up, you just stand up, kick up attempt into the handstand, come back down. You're not meant to hold the handstand for very long, but show control, come back down if you're using the wall. Now if you're comfortable freestanding space, you can do a kick up to handstand in the middle of the floor, working on finding that position, coming back down, and working through there. If you can hold in that position for a few moments, hold that position for a few moments, come back down, or just work the kick up attempt. Even if you just set your hands, one foot in front, hand on the floor, lift, come back up. There's nothing wrong with those options. If you are doing that and you're not super comfortable with hands on the floor, I'm going to show an elevated variation as well. But our key focus in this is our arms staying locked out and straight, kind of like they are in the squat thrust. We want to keep them nice and active. So with that handstand kick up, there's also nothing wrong with doing it on the back of an elevated surface. This is a lower box, but you can take this all the way up to a 20-inch, 24-inch, something that you are comfortable with. The lower the box or the lower the apparatus, the more pressure in the shoulder and the arms. So with this activation, my shoulders stay over top of the hands. I'm pushing the box into the floor. I'm going to use this free leg in the back to lift. And that's what gives me my lift. So my shoulders always staying over top of my hands. If I'm using that box or apparatus, I am not trying to kick as high as I can. I am just trying to swing that leg, get a little bit of lift, pull that other leg off the floor, and focus on my arms staying straight. So I'm working on maintaining some key positions that are required in holding a handstand against the wall or in the floor. So there's a few different options we can play with that box option in our workout, and I'll show you one of those variations when I go through the sequence. So this work set is a lot of fun. There's a lot of challenge involved. There's a lot of flow aspect to it if you'd like to play with it, especially if you've done it before. But I'm going to go through one variation full on in the middle of the floor, which would be very similar to against the wall if you're facing the wall. And I'll show one variation close to that box so that you guys can see that option. Okay? So we have one burpee. We come down, we come up. We pop ourselves into our plank. Whatever push-up variation we do, we hit that push-up. We jump our feet into our jumping jack. Now you can sit down any way you'd like. All right, lay down, sit up, touch. From here you can stand up any way you'd like into your handstand kick up. That would be one round. So burpee, push up, jumping jack, sit up, handstand, one round. Coming over to the box, I would position myself close to the box. I come down, I do my burpee. I pop into my push up. Jumping jack. I sit down. Do my sit up. Come back up. Set myself up on the box, strong arms. That would be one round. So I'm going to work on that variation to build the strength in my handstand kick up. Now, if you're not interested in doing that variation, there is another variation we can play with in place of the handstand. You'd come up from your sit up, you would pop your feet back into your down dog, step back up, and then do your burpee for the next round. So you pop yourself into a nice little plank, down dog. You're going to get that slight inversion as you go through. Now this workout can be tiring, it can be a lot of fun, but again, we just want to get into a nice smooth flow. Think about each individual aspect for quality, and think about ways that you can mesh the two worlds and have some fun with it. How I like to play around with it, I'll run through one time. I like to play. I haven't done this in a while, so heads up on the handstand. I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, so how I like to do it, I like to play with a burpee. I come up, I come back down, push up. I like to use the pistol, get down, touch my toe, I'll roll, and hopefully, with some practice and warm up, I'll get those legs into that double foot kick up into that handstand. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a fun little flow that I like to play around with, that I've worked with over the years after playing with this workout over the years. But I like playing around with that stuff and just challenging that handstand kick up a little bit differently. But make this one yours, you guys. Have some fun with it and enjoy. Maggie, I hope you have a fantastic day today. You mean the world to us. You have no idea how important you are in our lives. I hope you have a great day in this extra special. Because you know what? A lot of people, they care about you a lot. And they want to see you succeed. So, love you guys. Have some fun. Work for quality. And we'll see you tomorrow to close out the week. Bye, you guys.